What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Malik back with another video. Welcome back to Malik's Water Garden. I'm really happy to announce to you guys that I kicked the ick. Yes, everybody, I kicked the ick. Remember, I had ick in my zebra Plecos, the new tank of zebra Plecos that I got. So yeah, I kicked it. All 5 zebra Plecos that are remaining are doing really well. I'm really happy to give you guys that update. And my dog probably is pregnant. She's right there. And so we'll be updating on those soon. And so this is just a general update to tell you guys that I kicked the egg. And how I did it was with heat. Thank you so much for everybody that reached out to me. Everybody that messaged me, called me, DM, private messages. Everybody that commented on the last videos. I know I haven't got to you guys yet. I will. I got a lot of messages. I got a lot of love for what happened and a lot of support. So everybody that messaged, thank you so much. I'm going to make a separate video thanking everybody that did help out. Just want to give a special shout out to Thomas. Thank you so much for making me feel better about the situation. He just reminded me that my other Zebra Plecos are spawning and that one spawn would be 8 fish or more. So I'm not too worried after that. He did make me feel a lot better by saying that I am doing quite a bit to help these animals, and this is a learning experience for myself as well as everybody else. And he reminded me about his loss, which was quite substantial compared to mine. So we'll be looking at what happened in the next video. This is just an update on the fish. I do have my big group in here, the 17 adults. They are doing well. They might actually have spawned. I did see some movement. I thought which was a fry, but I can't find it now. I didn't confirm it or anything. I just saw some little speck of black and white just darting about in the back. So it might be a fry, it might not be. But there is a lot of spawning activity in the tank. These guys are adults now, and there's at least 3 pairs that are ready to spawn. There's 3 gravid females, and there's 3 males that are holding down caves. So we'll be looking at those in a second. I'll just give you a brief update on them. I haven't actually spent a lot of time. I haven't done any water changes in the fish room in 3 weeks now, and it's going to be at least another week before I actually get the do water changes in all the tanks. I have been starting to do water changes in one side. I got a bunch of them done. I did get new fish, so if you haven't checked that video, I highly recommend checking that video out. And because I got a lot of really cool fish, so I made a really cool update video about that. So stay tuned and check that out. If it hasn't come out, it will be coming out right after this. And aside from that, I just had to get on to my water changes with all the Pleco tanks. And with this happening, I just didn't want to do anything for a few days or for a few weeks. But in my situation, these animals are really fine because I just checked the nitrates in a lot of my tanks. A few of the tanks are about 40 parts per million. And this tank is less than 20 parts per million. This tank's about 40 parts per million. And so like I just had to get on to the water changes as soon as possible and make sure that their nitrates are where I like to keep them. But despite all of that, a lot of my fish are still spawning. I have spawns in the L340 tank, a new spawn that just happened. So there's eggs the male's sitting on. And there's actually a lot of spawning behavior in here in this tank. So I'm expecting some spawns in September, October, and November from these guys for me. It seems to be a really good time for me to get spawns from them. So we will be looking at that in an upcoming video and figuring out exactly what the spawning season is in the wild. I'll be contacting Dr. Leandro Sosa, who is doing research on these fish, and asking him about that, and if he's willing to share some of that information. I will be sharing that with you guys, including the temperature data, the TDS, the water parameters, and all that good jazz, so that we can actually give them the best environment to successfully get spawns, and also during the right time of the year. Now, having said that, I will also be doing the updated video with Dr. Thomas that's coming up soon about general zebra Pleco breeding. There's a lot of valuable information. I have all this in written papers now, and he's already sent me, and I haven't gotten to it because of what is going on. And I'm also back to work, guys, so you gotta bear with me. It's gonna be a little bit tough for me to make like 5 or 6 videos, but I'm still gonna try my best and get you guys at least 4 videos a week, which is the goal right now. And so stay tuned for that. And so those are coming up soon as well. L471 care and maintenance video will be coming up shortly. I did get some spectacular pictures of my L471s. You guys are gonna love these fish. These are quite different from the Hypancistrus contridens and the Hypancistrus L201s, which I actually own a group of the L201s. And the Hypancistrus condens I've actually owned before, and the L471s are quite different fish from those Hypancistrus. It might actually be its own genus or a different genus if possible too, because they do look morphologically quite different to a lot of the Hypancistrus that I keep, especially some of the new ones that I got. They do fit the profile of the fish, and they're pretty much what the textbook says. They're just quite spectacular. I actually ended up getting the cream of the crop basically out of the new shipment that came in this was like in January or February. I picked these fish up, but I haven't shown you guys any of these, so you will be seeing them in an upcoming video. They were in quarantine until now, so they were in quarantine for about 6 months, and they just came out of quarantine and they went into the main group, and now I have a huge group of L471s, as well as about 30 or 40 fry that were born in this fish room this summer. So we'll be updating on those in an upcoming video and doing an extensive care and maintenance video, as well as a breeding video on those, so stay tuned. So in this video, this is just essentially letting you guys know what happened, and everything is good, doing well, and that I did get a lot of new fish, and I didn't lose any this time, which is normal for me. I don't lose fish when I get new fish, and so when it happens, it does really bother me quite a bit, because it's usually my fault. It's usually something I did or didn't do. And if everybody was wondering what happened with the zebra Plecos, essentially because I wasn't home, I didn't notice it, but I did have both of my dogs here, and my dog Maverick, the male, he's susceptible to high temperatures, and my house is centrally heated, the entire fish room as well as the rest of the house, and so it stays at about 84-85 degrees throughout the year. Now, because he is sensitive to high temperatures, I have to bring the temperature of the entire house down to about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is no problem if there was a normal period of time if I didn't just bring new zebra Plecos. And usually what I would be doing at that point would be to plug a heater in, which I actually have in here, plugged in back there, if you can see it or not. But essentially I didn't do that because I didn't realize in my own head that the temperature would be dropping. Had dropped in the tank that I was quarantining them in, so the tank temperature was at about 77.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And honestly, for zebra Plecos, that's not a bad temperature. You can keep them at that temperature. I've actually had fish in those exact tanks around this time of last year, and they're still alive, they're still in my tanks, and they're doing well. I just had to move them as the temperature was dropping, but at the time it just didn't affect them negatively because they were fish that was already established into the tank, and the temperature dropped to them gradually. But with these guys, they probably were in tanks that were about 84-85 degrees growing out at the breeder's facility. I didn't get that information, so I didn't know what temperature to keep them in, and I didn't think about it because all my other zebra Plecos are in the room with all my other Hypancistrus. So I thought in my own head, like, didn't even think about this, but the logic is that they are going to be fine because everybody is good. Usually when I get fish from Jason, he specifically tells me what temperature they are in, and I didn't check that with this fish. My friend told me, my friend Michael just told me that they're in tap water, in Toronto tap water, and I said fine, that's great. But they were not acclimatized to our tap water yet either. So those are all things that potentially went wrong for them, and I did end up losing 8 fish during that process, and the rest of them did catch ick, which you guys probably saw. And thank you so much for everybody that reached out to me. And essentially after that, I did move them into the tank here. I raised the temperature to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and that really helped me with the ick. And the remaining 5 fish are doing well. 5 alive. The 5 are alive. There's a few spectacular ones in there. There's actually a pair, I believe. They're always hanging out together. Usually when small fish that are sub-adults are hanging out together, if they're in a group and stuff, if they do have a chance to set up a little territory, because the tank is quite large, there's only 5 little fish in there. So they've actually established some territories, and I do have a guaranteed pair, I know for a fact. So I'm going to pull those out separately and put them with my super white pair. The female or whatever I have in here, I think the little one is a female, and the regular looking one is the male. They're also a pair because they always hang out together. If they were not a pair, if they were of the same sex, especially if they're both males, the males will potentially fight in a small container like that. So you got to pay attention to that type of stuff as well. But essentially we'll be looking at a lot of these in the upcoming videos. Dr. Thomas actually showed me how to pick males and females quite easily, so we'll be looking at that as well. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, hit that notification so you get updated when all those videos as well as many others like that get uploaded. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. I'll see you on the next video. God bless you all.